Today we are going to discuss one more new topic, which is hypothesis testing. I believe so many of you have gone through with this and aware of it, what exactly the hypothesis testing is. This we call it in stats, it's one of the most confusing topic. So, before moving with what exactly the hypothesis testing, what are the different types, and how we do the testing and all, I just want to convey you one important stuff here, which is why we required hypothesis testing. We are not going to start with what exactly hypothesis testing is, but my motive is to let you know why we need this, why hypothesis testing comes into the picture. So let's start with this part. I'll be using one of my handwritten document here so that you can understand it. I have already written some stuff here. So the very first thing that we can hear here, I have written that the average of science marks in ABC school for class 9th is 85. Then what we did, we randomly select some samples from that class, and then we calculated the average, and we got to know that average is 95. So basically what we observed that the person, we have two terms here in stats word. One is this population and one is the sample. Population is the one which is your entire data, and sample is just a subset of population. So from this statement, the average of science marks for population was 85. But what we did, then we randomly select some students from that class and we calculated the average. You can see that from this picture as well, and we got to know that the average is 95. So we do have different pictures. One says that the average is 85, then other says is average is 95. So what is your understanding when we see this kind of difference? So the basic mean is this. The one point that we can consider here is these 30 students are different from ABC school for class 9th student. That can be a one observation. That means that we have two different population. The other observation is, because we randomly select some sample to calculate the average, it's this difference is because of that. That's what our understanding can be. One is like maybe we have a different population, another is maybe just because we have selected the random samples, so this comes because of random selection of students. Might be we have selected all the students who have maximum marks because we randomly picked it. But the thing is this, that which explanation is correct, how we can be assured that whether we are going to take it as 85 and whether we are going to take it as 95. You know what happened, I'm just giving you one example here. Let's say you assume something, or you find you give certain understanding, or let's say any company claim that they are that particular product is killing 99.9% jump, something like that. So how they mean they are 99% sure that this is what this particular product is doing. But you know what we did, we then a one person comes and that person picks some random sample and apply that particular product there, and they get to know that whatever the company claim, that is not perfectly correct. Might be they observe that the jumps product is killing is 80%, 85%, or even less than that. So that person can claim it that the they already, like what you say, this is not true. So we can do some research and we can give it said that this is not correct, because they have not included the entire population while they have confirmed this part that their product is killing 99.9% jumps. Because might be they have selected some random sample, they applied it, then calculated, and they find it out that product is killing this percent of jumps. Exactly the same thing is here, because we are taking decision for population using sample data. So to do this, let's say that was the very small data, that was just a ninth class student from ABC school. So we just calculated the average of population as well, and we calculated the populace for random sample as well, and we see that there is some difference. But if in real time it is not possible to work around the entire population, let's say you want to calculate what is the average salary for all BTech students, so is it possible for you to pick the data for all the BTech students around the globe? It's not possible. So what we does, we just pick a random BTech student information and we find it out, and then we say that this is the exact this is the average salary of BTech students for this year of experience, and based on some sample data that we picked, because that's not very sure for us, that not possible even for us to collect all the BTech student data from from the entire globe. I hope I'm making sense to you. So the next point here, like this, why I have given this picture to you, because this time we can see that the population result is different and the sample result is different. So to do this, what to analyze it more and to give it more time to understand what is happening there, why this difference is coming, we have three options to do it. One is either we can increase the sample size. Might be previously we have taken 5 samples, this time we take 6 samples, 7 samples, and then calculate the average. Might be then we may have a different picture. Next, what we can do, that is test. We can pick some other samples. This time we have taken these samples, that the I highlighted one that I have here. Might be next time we'll take different sample to test it, because here we have a very small data for population, so we can do it, that's okay. But if we have very huge amount of data, the example that I have given for you, let's say for the entire BTech students around the globe, so not possible for you to pick the entire data, and then we keep picking the random samples. So these two things required more time and budget. One, increase sample size. Second, test for other samples. These two things required more time and budget. Then we left with third option, which is calculate random chance probability. For this explanation, the example that I have given you, we have some option to make it more correct and research it more towards it. One is like increase sample, other is pick some other samples and keep testing and keep checking for some other samples and keep testing. So these two requires more time and budget. We have third option, which is calculate random chance probability, and the third option, to calculate random chance probability, is the best option for us. And how to calculate random chance probability? To calculate random chance probability, we do have hypothetical testing available for it. And let me share you that part. So the convenient method to calculate the random chance probability for that sample is to do this. We can use hypothesis testing. So when hypothesis testing comes into the picture, when we just need to calculate the random chance probability, so that we can take decision for population using sample data. I hope this is clear to you, that when hypothesis testing comes into the picture. Now the next, we got to know that why hypothesis testing. Now we are going to take the another thing, which is what exactly the hypothesis testing is. Hypothesis testing, you can say, it's a promise or claim that we want to test on using sample data, and we take decisions for population. And for doing the hypothesis testing, we will be evaluating two mutually exclusive statements, or we can say two mathematically opposite statement on population using sample data. Let me give you that example. For example, the example that I have given you, for a particular company, XYZ company is claiming that their particular product is killing 99.9% germs. And this is what they have already said, and this is confirmed. What happened then, one person come and he try to do testing around their assumption or their statement, and they get to know that the product is not killing 99.9% germs. So what was they said? They said previously that product is killing 99.9% germs, but One person came and he did some sampling, we tested, and then he tried multiple time in a different way. I am not going to discuss those terms like how to do it, but somehow he got to know that product is not killing 99.9% germs. So that person can claim whatever you said it's not correct, but that person have to prove it. We have to give some evidence, exactly the same that example, that person is guilty or not. If that is already accepted that person is guilty, so we have to give the evidence to prove that person is not guilty, right? So what is hypothesis testing? Hypothesis testing is a promise or claim that we want to test, or you can say we evaluates two mutually exclusive statement on population using sample data. Mutually exclusive or mathematically opposite, that means they're different from each other. One say that it is equal to this, other say it's not equal to this. It may be less, it may be more, but not equal to that. So they are mathematically opposite and mutually exclusive statement. Now this is just a very simple definition, we are going to discuss that in more detail. But here let's take an example of uh, let's discuss about the different types of hypothesis testing. So the one thing that we need to consider here before performing hypothesis testing, we just need to select a null and alternate hypothesis. Null and alternate is what? Null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis both are the types of hypothesis testing. So hypothesis testing do have two different types. One is null hypothesis, which we denote from H node or H0, and the other one is alternate hypothesis, which we denote from H1 or HA. Null hypothesis is the one which is the default one, like that is already accepted. The example that I have given to you, that company claim that product is killing 99.9% germs. So the null hypothesis in that case is 99.9%. But the other person claims and he claims that product is no longer killing or not killing 99.9% germs. So what would be the alternate hypothesis in that case? That uh, the percentage of for killing the germs is not equal to 99.9%. So alternate hypothesis is the one that we need to research, or that involves the claim to be tested. Null is the one that is the default one, means that is already accepted, and alternate is the one that we need to prove. We call it a research hypothesis as well. So these two, that you can understand that null and alternate are mathematically opposite. Let me give you one more example so that you can understand what is null and what is alternate. So you just go through with this example, that it's believed that a candy machine makes chocolate bars that are average 5 gram. That is a statement. It's believed that a candy machine makes chocolate bars that are average 5 gram. So that is the already accepted one. What happened then? A worker claimed that machine after maintenance is no longer making 5 gram. What does it mean? That worker claims that whatever was already believed, it's not true. So what is your null hypothesis here? Null hypothesis is the average is 5 gram. The weight or the chocolate bar average is 5 gram. And what is the alternate one that we need to claim or that we need to prove? That is not equal to 5 gram. So a null is 5 gram and alternate is not equal to 5 gram. Both are mathematically opposite. Both are mutually exclusive. So now you must be clear with the null and alternate hypothesis. Null is the one which is already accepted, and alternate is the one that we need to claim or we need to prove. So that's what we can see, that null and alternate are mathematically opposite, mutually exclusive, and whatever we decide as alternate hypothesis, that we need to prove. Now one thing comes into the picture, that let's say we have to do the hypothesis testing, we decided a null and alternate hypothesis as well. Then how we decide that alternate one is correct or not? So we needed a p value for that matter. What exactly the p value? P value is the probability for null hypothesis to be true. We are going to discuss this term later. That's it for today. So that what we discussed today, why we needed hypothesis testing, what is hypothesis testing, what are the different types of hypothesis testing, and further we are going to discuss that what are the different terms that we use into it. So let me note it down, all the terms here. We discussed the null hypothesis, we discussed the alternate one, and the next topic that we are going to cover would be test static and level of confidence, level of significance. Level of significance that we can use, and we are going to cover the one-tail test, two-tail test, right? And we are going to cover the critical reasons. Some more things, like these are some technical jargons that might be quite new for you, but these are involved into the process of hypothesis testing. So shall meet you in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye.